What is going on there, everyone? Well, the big news of the day, Soleimani's takedown fuels new partisan warfare on Capitol Hill. Imagine that. Imagine that. Trump ordered a drone strike, or an airstrike. I believe it was a drone strike. And, yeah, of course, the left lost their mind because he didn't seek congressional approval. I get that. That makes sense a little bit to me, you know. I understand because when Obama was doing all those crazy drone strikes, a lot of them, which we'll get into, um, yeah, there was quite a few of them where he didn't seek congressional approval either. Interesting. Interesting how everything is just flipped on its head, you know, just because my orange man bad. But let's get into this story a little bit. The killing of Iraqi General Qasem Soleimani in a U.S. airstrike late Thursday immediately touched off a fresh partisan clash on Capitol Hill, with Republicans cheering the death of the brutal military commander as long overdue, and the Democrats voicing concerns that they weren't consulted and that it could drag the U.S. into a new Middle East conflict. Uh, yeah, I don't like the thought of any newer Middle East conflict at all. I don't think we should be in the Middle East at all, period, point blank. I mean, there's really no reason for us to be there. This is all just remnants of the neocon Bushes for oil. That's all it is. We're just dealing with the remnants of that. This is all the Bushes' fault. I can't stand them neocons. And, yeah, I know a lot of other conservatives, they hate when I talk about the Bushes, but you know what? There's a lot of conservatives out there who are anti-war. I'm one of them. Sorry. It's just, war doesn't work like it used to. You know, back in the days of World War II and stuff like that, yeah, it boosted the economy. Now, it hemorrhages from everything. How significant is this? We killed the most powerful man in Iran short of the Ayatollah. He was the right fist of the Ayatollah, and we took the Ayatollah's arm off, Senator Lindsey Graham said on Fox and Friends. The Pentagon confirmed that Soleimani, the head of the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, was taken out in a U.S. strike in Iraq directed by President Trump. It came days after the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was attacked by pro-Iran militants amid months-long tensions between the U.S. and Islamic regime in Tehran. Iran immediately promised it would seek revenge. What are they really going to do? What are they really going to do? The same things they've been doing? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be nothing new. All the people on the left right now are freaking out, you know, especially your more activist types, your more progressives, thinking that this is going to take us into World War III. Well, I could tell you, no, that's not going to happen. No. I don't even know why they would be thinking that. Just because Iran and China and Russia are allied? Is that why they're saying that? Probably. Probably. But guess what? I don't think any of those countries actually want a war with America. Especially Iran, because Iran could not win in a war, in an actual war with America. Iran couldn't do nothing to us. It's not like they're going to come here, that's for sure. I think the Iranian leadership understands President Trump will take action. We made it very clear that these responses would be swift and decisive, he said. We have now demonstrated that. Which Iran should know. I mean, look at our last president. He drone struck everywhere all over the Middle East. Even American citizens. But in Congress, where partisan tensions already are high over the impeachment of Trump by the House and a pending Senate trial, the reaction split down those same lines as it had when Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018, which I agreed with. There's no reason to even have a nuclear deal with Iran, considering their government is always screaming death to America. Do you think any agreement we have with them is really going to be honored? No. No, it's not. It's smoke and mirrors. It's diplomatic nonsense, you know. It's all just there to make you feel better, or to make one side feel better. That's all it is. When we're dealing with countries like these, you know, it's the same thing with like North Korea. Yes, we're gonna try to do the diplomatic thing. We're always gonna try to, you know, outwardly promote peaceful existence and all that between our nations. Yeah, but they're not our friends, and we know that. We know that very much so. Senator Tom Cotton said Soleimani got what he richly deserved. Qasem Soleimani masterminded Iran's regime of terror for decades, including the deaths of hundreds of Americans, he said. Tonight, he got what he richly deserved, and all those American soldiers who died by his hand also got what they deserved. What? Hold on. And all those American soldiers who died by his hand also got what they deserved? Just... Oh, okay. For a second there, it was like, what did you just say? But then I see. Justice. America is safer now after Soleimani's demise. I don't know. I mean, America is fine. We were fine before. But American troops serving in the Middle East are probably a lot safer. Democrats, meanwhile, described the killing as a dangerous escalation, with Senator Tim Kaine, he's one of my Democratic leaders here in Virginia, piece of trash, grouping it with the Iran deal pullout as a brazen decision that makes the region less stable. There's no stability in the Middle East. There's never been stability in the Middle East. Do y'all not open history books? Since the historical records have been being kept, the Middle East has always been at war. It thrives on warfare. They are tribal over there. Literally tribal. They have, you know, the Sunnis, the Shiites, and all that. And none of them like each other, really. And they've been warring forever. I mean, since recorded history. So the region has never been stable. It'll probably, and I can't see in our foreseeable future it ever stabilizing. I don't know what to tell you. They're kind of archaic over there, if you ask my opinion. As I've warned for years, Trump's decision to tear up a diplomatic deal that was working, come on, man, and resume escalating aggressions with Iran has brought us to the brink of another war in the Middle East, Kaine said. Qasem Soleimani was a despicable killer, but this drastic escalation of hostilities, waging a military attack on Iraqi soil over the objections of that country and without congressional authorization, will increase the threat to American troops, diplomats, and families in the region. Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's not gonna make anything better, most likely, but there are a lot of Iraqis that don't like the fact that the Iranian generals and stuff are just freely going around their country, sowing the seeds of discontent for the Iraqi government. You know? It's a double-edged sword. Everything we do in the Middle East is a double-edged sword. While there will be some positive benefits, there's going to be a whole lot of negative ramifications to deal with, too. That's the Middle East. That's what we always have to go through. That's why I don't even think we should be there. We should get our people out of there and let them destroy themselves. I mean, come on. Kaine called on Congress to act to stop President Trump from entangling America in yet another unnecessary war in the Middle East. Well, no war has been declared as of yet, so just wait to say hyperbolic statements like that, please. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, the treasonous traitor Adam Schiff, said it was a move that Congress didn't authorize and the American people don't want war with Iran. I'll agree with that the American people don't want war with Iran, because I don't either. I don't think anybody does. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that if the strike was provocative and disproportionate and put American lives at risk. Provocative and disproportionate. A man who is directly responsible for the deaths of hundreds of U.S. soldiers and civilians that were working as private contractors, mind you. Yeah, it wasn't disproportionate. The guy is a terrible person. As much as I disagree with drone strikes and stuff like this, I get it sometimes, you know. But yeah, at least these are military targets, not like Obama, who would just indiscriminately bomb everything. American leaders' highest priority is protect American lives and interests, but we cannot put the lives of American service members, diplomats, and other futures or further at risk by engaging in provocative and disproportionate actions, she said. Tonight's airstrike risks provoking further dangerous escalations of violence. America and the world cannot afford to have tensions escalate to the point of no return. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but this guy was a very dangerous individual. He was Iran's number 2. And he happened to be in Iraq, like I said, sowing the seeds of discontent. So we took him out. I don't know. Like I said, it just puts me in a rock and a hard place, to be honest with you. But the story just continues with pretty much the Democrats hating everything. But let's go to an older story, because the Democrats really have just completely switched their point of view on these type of drone strikes. Because, you know, I hate to tell them, when it comes to the president deciding to do this without congressional support, or just approval, should I say, because Congress on the left isn't going to support anything that the president does for the most part. But, you know, it's just... The president is, you know, his title is Commander-in-Chief. He's the commander of the armed forces, and one of the reasons he probably doesn't let Congress know about some of the things is because of security reasons. Because we've seen through this administration, this is the Colander administration. And it's not Trump's fault. But the reason I say it's the Colander administration is because there's so many holes in it, it leaks like a colander, you know? So, yeah, I mean, you're trying to sit here and do a secret type of strike. Letting the Democrats in Congress know about these things could threaten the whole operation, because they don't know how to keep their mouths shut about things here with this administration. So, I don't know. But let's go back to an article from the left-wing, super left-wing, Vox. When it comes to drone strikes and everything, because, you know, the left, now that Trump has the power to conduct these strikes, they hate drone strikes. But there's a certain part of this that I actually want to get into. Okay. This paragraph right here is particularly of interest to me. President George W. Bush and Obama both drastically expanded the power and authority of the executive branch, particularly in the realm of national security. In addition to having nearly unlimited power to start wars without Congress's approval, that's the big mention here, presidents now have the power to order drone strikes on U.S. citizens abroad. That was Obama. Without charges or trial. Let that sink in. That was an Obama administration policy he pushed through. That's terrifying. Gather millions of Americans' emails and phone records with minimal judicial oversight. That would be a Bush-era thing. And radically redefine what does and does not constitute torture without fear of ever being prosecuted for war crimes. And torture is another thing that it's kind of also a gray area, because what constitutes as torture, you know, there's a lot of disagreements there. And it goes on, that any president has this kind of power is concerning on its own. But even more alarming, now that Donald Trump, like I said, this is from 2017, who has praised repressive dictators like Vladimir Putin, and shown little respect for things like international law and Geneva Convention, is going to be in the White House. Like I said, this is from left-wing Vox, so they have to put their crazy spin on it. But yeah, that main paragraph where it was going over the George W. Bush and Obama expanding the powers and authority of the executive branch is mainly what I wanted to get to when it's there. And now, Obama's final drone strike data. This is particularly interesting also. And I think everyone should take a look at it. Less than 2 weeks ago, this is an old story, of course, talking about Obama. This is from January 20th, 2017, or from the Council on Foreign Relations. Less than 2 weeks ago, the United States conducted a drone strike over central Yemen, killing one Al Qaeda operative. The strike was the last under Obama that we know of. Okay, and then it gets into the numbers under the Obama administration. The 542 drone strikes that Obama authorized killed an estimated 3,797 people, including 324 civilians, as he reportedly told senior aides in 2011. Turns out, I'm really good at killing people. Didn't know I was going to be, or that was going to be a strong suit of mine. And just hearing that come out of someone's face that's in charge of our country is kind of scary when you think about it. But another thing is Obama used drones and actually went after U.S. citizens that were abroad, which is pretty terrifying. I was hoping, I thought they said something about that here, but I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. But yeah, the thing is, the whole thing goes back to is the left's mad now because Trump's using powers that President Bush and President Obama gave to the president, to the executive branch. So to say he's just going out and just doing whatever he wants, the path has been laid for him to do so. Yeah. By a neocon, which I can't stand, which is George Bush, and by y'all's at one time, the Democrat god of presidents. You remember how y'all propped up Obama and how he was y'all's everything? It's funny to see how now y'all consider, or not all, but a lot of the left considers Obama to be a conservative. Think about that. Let that soak in. Let all that soak in. It's very interesting how we see this play out. Whenever Obama did these drone strikes, he was praised by the media and by all the politicians, left wing, and quite a few on the right. But when Trump does anything remotely similar, he is just bashed for it. Doesn't make any sense. I don't like drone strikes. I've said that numerous times. I think y'all get it. But, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and President Trump did what he felt he needed to do, so what can you do? I'd love to hear your comments, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you all on the flip side.